Yeah, I think one of the in that article we are thinking about how we can design algorithms that enable getting access to cleaner data to do robust pricing, and that related to my research area on the main challenge that we cannot really trust the data in all of this in many scenarios. And one of the reasons that you cannot trust the data that is related to that project comes from the fact that the data that you are using for your machine learning algorithm is being generated by strategic players. And this is usually the case for two-sided markets like online advertising, this online advertising market is responsible for all the free contents that we have on the internet, but at the same time is also responsible for all these annoying ads that they are following us across a website. But regardless, it's good to have a very healthy ecosystem for online advertising market because this market contributes to our economy a lot. So going back to the problem and the fact that this advertising market is a two-sided market. On one side of the market, we have these web publishers, the ad exchanges that on behalf of web publishers, they are running auctions to sell ad views. On the other side of the market, we have advertisers that they are participating in the auction in order to display their ads to the internet users. So based on my experience and that I had in this market and my interaction in this market, so I know for the fact that both sides of the markets try to leverage machine learning algorithm to optimize their decision. On the ad exchange side, then they try to design machine learning algorithms for optimizing the auction parameters, like pricing in particular. And then on the advertiser side, they try to optimize their bidding strategy. So then now you may wonder why this is problematic. So that it's problematic because on the ad exchange side, if I take my data is coming from the advertiser's algorithm. And my data in particular is the bids that the advertisers submit to these auctions. So if I take this data and use it as a proxy for their willingness to pay, then my algorithm can get tricked. And even these advertisers intentionally submit low bids to pretend that they have low willingness to pay for showing their ads. Another question is that, can I limit this price manipulation by the algorithms that this advertiser use? So I think the way we address the problem is it's quite nice. At least I find it quite fascinating because it's a simple solution. What we say, okay, you have this data and then that's your asset. Like you want to use that data in order to design your machine learning algorithm, and there is nothing wrong with that. But instead of using the data directly, try to use the some version of the data. In particular, instead of using the bids, try to use what we call it sensor bids. And in this particular case, sensor bids are going to be the outcome of the auction, which depends on the bids, but it's not bids themselves. This outcome of the auction is going to be a binary signal that tells you whether a particular advertiser wins or not. Now, and then we use that when it comes to designing a machine learning algorithm rather than using the bids themselves. So then the question is that why it is helping? It is helping because if you think about advertiser, if you want to manipulate the pricing algorithm by ad exchanges, they have to change this binary signal, which means that if consider an auction in which this one advertiser could be the winner, if they want to manipulate that this binary signal, now they need to lower their bid such that now they lose the auction altogether, and that's going to be costly for them. So when I'm designing this algorithm, I'm going to use this binary signal so that I make it costly for advertiser to manipulate the algorithm. And then by doing that, I'm going to have I'm providing a healthy ecosystem for this online advertising market. I let both sides of the market use their algorithms, but not really trick one side of the market, because each side of the market needs to take their surplus and enjoy their revenue.